Okay, pros and cons of living in Panama. Now, there are lots of great things that we found about living in Panama and less cons. So, we're going to start first with the pros. Now, it is very beautiful almost everywhere in Panama. This is our drive going through the towns. So we went from La Chorrera all the way across to Portobello, which was a few hour drive, passed through Panama City and Cologne, and it was always like this beautiful, beautiful everywhere. It has plenty of greenery and beautiful things to see everywhere. It has beautiful oceans and beaches. You'll just love just driving around everywhere. It has so much to see. They have beautiful landscapes, and there's beaches everywhere. If you love going to beaches, you could go to the beach every day. There's never too crowded because there's beaches everywhere, so you can always find a good spot. The weather is perfect. It's always warm enough. Even if it's raining, you could go swimming. So it's beautiful weather all year long. Around the coast, it's about 80 degrees to 90 degrees. If you like it cooler, you can go inland just a little bit, maybe about 10 minutes, and you'll have a 70-degree weather instead of the 80, 90 degrees. So it's pretty much up to you, and you'll have that weather all year long. So it's beautiful weather. You could pretty much pick the weather that you want. The people here are very friendly and helpful. So even if you don't speak the language, you're bound to find lots of people willing to help you with anything that you need. They're willing to help you and talk with you. Even if you can't talk with them very well, you can use your translator or a little bit Spanish, and they'll work with you, no problem. Another great thing of Panama is that you can buy a house here under $120,000 and it'll be tax-free. So you won't have to worry about property tax. And the same goes for buying a land without a house on it. So as long as it is under $120,000, you can have no property tax on your home, which is amazing. If you decide to buy something over that amount, the taxes are also extremely cheap. It's about 2% of the total price, so it's very cheap. Let's say if you want to have someone do some work for you, the labor out here is only $2.50 an hour, so you can have so much done for only $2.50 an hour. It's amazing how cheap the labor is. We like it because if you buy a house, or you can do pretty much anything you want on the property without anybody saying anything. You want to have a horse in the backyard, you can do it. You want to have a bunch of chickens and a rooster, no one's going to say anything, even if you lived right there in the suburb area with houses next to you, no problem. You want to change your house, a lot of people put up these cement courtyards around their houses. You don't need permits for that. You don't need anyone's permission or any kind of red tape to go through. Do what you want. So you have a lot of freedom here in Panama, a lot less red tape compared to the States and other countries. There's just no boggling down of red tape here. I just love that. You can sell stuff here. You want to go sell something? You could go stand in the middle of the road, in the middle of the rush hour traffic, and sell avocados, water, oranges, you name it. The be right there in the middle while you're driving, about to get ran over, and there's somebody trying to sell you something, and no one's going to stop them. Police going by, buying from them. It's totally free to sell anywhere in Panama. You don't have to have a license and a permit, and all these agencies come and check and make sure you're doing it correctly. It's fine. You want to go sell lemonade, go for it. You want to sell whatever you want, no one's going to stop you. It's really a nice, refreshing freedom here that is very nice compared to the States. If you don't want to buy a house, rent is also very cheap. You can rent an amazing house for like $400, $600, a really big, huge house for $600, or a nice brand new house. You can get a brand new house for only $100, $170 a month, $100 down, brand new houses they built for you for that price. So super cheap. Either way you want to go, lots of options here in Panama. One of the reasons that we came here. Another great thing is if you're heading towards retirement age or even thinking about it, this is a great place to be. They have an amazing program for retiring. You get 50 to 80% off your medical prescriptions, or going out. Maybe you want to go out to eat, or events, or special places to see, or trips and stuff. They give you discounts no matter what, just because you're in retirement age. So you get so many perks for being retiring here in Panama. The medical here is also great. It's just similar to the United States, and you will have almost the same procedures, but like a fraction of the cost. So you can go get a medical checkup for like $10. You have a prescription, or want to go see the doctor, you need to have a cold, maybe you needed to get an antibiotic, they cost like $2. So it's a very cheap here, same type of medical, but much better pricing. And speaking of pricing, when you're shopping, produce here is amazingly cheap. You can get, for a family of 10, you can get all your week's worth of produce and fruit for $20. So that's amazing, because we eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and you can get a whole week's worth for only $20, or even less if you want to haggle with them. They have fruit and stands and vendors everywhere, and the price is always negotiable, and you can get great deals. On this one we got 6 pineapples for $1. And in the city, if you like to go to the city, they have beautiful city, Panama City, and they have beautiful skyscrapers like this one. This is my favorite one. And you can go around and just drive around town and see all the beautiful buildings. It's really a nice occasion to spend a day in Panama City. Okay, let's talk about the cons. What can possibly be bad about Panama? Okay, so bad things, there wasn't too many, but it depends on your preference, basically. So for me, we are a Muslim family. For us, the people here are very skimpy dressed. So, I mean, very skimpy dressed. Like barely, might as well not be wearing anything. That's definitely a drawback for Panama, and most areas, especially the city or anywhere where it's hotter, you'll find more and more very skimpy dressed women. For Muslims also, the main masjids are only in Panama City. If you need halal meat, again, only in Panama City. So if you want to live somewhere else in Panama, you're not going to have a lot of options, because you need to be close to Panama City. So if you can find yourself a good spot, then you wouldn't be too bad off. But other than that, you're kind of restricted to staying near Panama City within an hour, so that you can have the typical Islamic things that you need. For the rest of you who don't need that, then you don't have to worry about that, of course. Some other issues you might worry about are that most houses do not have hot water. They just have the cold water. So if you're used to a hot shower, no, you're not going to get a hot shower. You have to look really carefully, and most rentals do not have hot water either. So if you're renting somewhere, you need to make sure that you get a hot water if that's an issue for you. Although truthfully, we don't have hot water, and we've lived here for at least 3 months now, and it has been actually nice, because it is warm anyway, and then the water is not cold, it just comes out kind of like lukewarm. So it's not really like having a frozen cold shower. It's nice, it's not too bad. Also, it rains a lot here in Panama. At least 80% of the time it rains. So if it's not just a nice sunny day, it'll be a rainy day. Although still warm, it'll be a rainy day. So if you're okay with that, that's something to think about. There will be a lot of rain. Let's see. Also, they have music. If you're a music fan, this is a place for you. They have music non-stop here, 24/7. You'll have a neighbor playing some music, especially if you lived in a suburb or near the city. If you don't want that kind of environment, you'd probably have to live more in the country, so you could be more alone. But if you're in any kind of suburb area, you're gonna be surrounded with music and parties and fireworks every single day. It will never go away. Music is like their blood here. They just love music and they'll play it no matter what. So if that's an issue for you, you might want to think about living in the country. Let's see, they also are having a water shortage. So the country has the water turned off at least once a week. So you need to keep an eye on that. And at our rental place, we have a water reserve tank in the back. So when the water is turned off once a week, we can use our reserve tank. So if you're planning on having a place, you might want to think of having a well or a water reserve tank. So for those days that they do turn the water off, you will be prepared. The utilities are extremely cheap here. Speaking of water, I forgot to mention that. The utilities are super cheap. You can have the air conditioner running 24/7 and all your regular electric, and the bill is about $50 a month. So very cheap utilities. All right, back to the cons. Language barrier, that is an issue. You should probably try and learn some Spanish. Although everyone will try and work with you, Spanish is something you should try and learn. And the last thing I would mention is the mail. If you're used to having a post box at the end of your driveway or going to the post office, you will not have those options here. They do not have any kind of mail system here at all. So what they do have is you could go to places like a mailbox, etc., and have packages shipped. Or if you're buying something like on Amazon, you can have it mailed to a place like mailbox, etc., and they will take it and you will have to come pick it up there. And they have a similar situation for if you're mailing something locally, you'll have to send it to, they have two different local post places like that. It's not mailbox, etc., I forget the name, but you go into the center and you say you're sending this package to Panama City, and you'll have to put the name of the person and their phone number, and then you will call that person and tell them, hey, I'm sending you a package, and they'll have to go to the center in Panama City that's the same as the one you went to, and they'll tell the same situation. I'm picking up a package, it should have my name and this is my number, and that's how you get packages locally sent. So a bit of a different system, but it works. Okay, and I think that's all the pros and cons. Definitely not a lot of cons, especially if you're not Muslim. There's a lot less cons, and you could live pretty much anywhere in Panama. You could probably find a pretty good place. There's not really any drawbacks, except for Islamically, it's not for us, as we would like to have a little bit better offerings in that direction. But overall, it's a really nice country. I would definitely put it on my number 2 list. And if you're thinking about coming here, definitely come and check it out. It's very beautiful here. I like, subscribe.